All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. All right, everyone, I am back and ready to get back at the charts. Bitcoin has been seeing a bit of a tumble over the past couple of weeks, and we were concerned of those daily bearish divs that were starting to play out, the higher time frame divs, and that if we did lose some key local support levels, we could see that drop all the way down to 108K. We talked about this before I left, where our macro support level is. So if we look at the charts here on the 8-hour chart, you can see we came up to that upper band. Now, this is our big wave 3 pitchfork of this cycle. We'll go into a couple of the pitchforks in this video, but we rejected from the upper band, and we know when we do reject from these major pitchfork levels, oftentimes we will bleed our way down to backtest the major pitchfork support, just like we did a few months ago where we rejected from that upper band and we saw a slow bleed down till we actually back tested that midline as support, and then we got another giant rally to the upside. So we have now done the same thing. We have rejected the pitchfork band, the upper band, and we have slowly bled down, and now we are at the value area low of our local range that goes back until May 22nd, and we are also at that pitchfork midline of support, which last time we touched into that pitchfork midline, we got a massive rally to the upside and continued new all-time highs, continued to make new all-time highs. So we are at a key local support area right now on the charts. But I will say this, guys, it does not look good as far as our money flow goes. We did have high time frame bear divs. Yes, we are developing bull divs right now, lower lows in the price action, higher lows in the momentum waves. And we have multiple drives even on the 8-hour chart. These nice intermediate bull divs, but the money flow is still draining out of the asset pretty consistently and continuing to the downside. Now, if support this level of support has to hold if Bitcoin wants to continue to maintain strength and continue to rally up to new all-time highs this year. Let's go ahead and come in on our object tree and let's turn on our macro range. So this is our 2025 range. This let's zoom out to the daily chart, and if we look at this daily range here, I'm going to just hide the smaller range so you guys can get a better look here. This was our macro range that we've been following for all of 2025. You can also see this pitchfork is what we've been following for over a year now. Rejected the top of the pitchfork back late in 2024, dropped all the way down to the lower band of the pitchfork where it held as support. We pushed up to the upper band, rejected the upper band, came down to the midline, held the midline now as support on the bullish backtest, came up to the upper band again, and we did reject the upper band again. We are dropping down to the midline again. So you can see here, though, with our volume profile, if we look at our high volume levels on the chart that are relevant for 2025, you can see that not only have we dropped back inside our volume profile, our value area high of the range, but we actually back tested that value area high today, and we do seem to be rejecting from that area. It is a bit concerning for me, a bit concerning that we are finding reestablishment of price action back with inside this volume profile. And if we do start to close daily candles below this pitchfork midline, I do think we could see a much bigger drop. We do have some local support coming in around 105K. But if we look at this money flow on the daily time frame, this is what has really been concerning to me and could signal for a bigger correction, maybe even to take out our 74K lows. We were looking at that bigger flat correction from the initial all-time highs of 108K, a flat correction where we could all come all the way back down to take out our 74K lows over the next couple of months. But I am not going there yet. First, let's talk about these bear divs. We were seeing the bear divs on the chart. You can see lower highs on the momentum waves, higher highs on the price action. But the big thing here for me was the money flow. You can see ever since we topped out really back in May, we made our May all-time highs, hitting into that pitchfork upper band for the first time. Our money flow topped out here. And our money flow's slowly been draining out of the asset as we've been forming these higher highs on the charts. Money flow has been draining out, making a bearish divergence on money flow as well as a bearish divergence on the momentum waves. And right now, the money flow is crossing over into the red. And we did just print a hidden bear div a couple of days ago on NAMI with the lower high rejection. We are losing our key anchored VWAP support from the prior all-time high, from our May all-time high. We are losing that anchored VWAP of support, and we are continuing to drop down now. Also, if we take an anchored VWAP from our all-time high, you can see that we are below the anchored VWAP from the all-time high. The only really anchored VWAP that is going to be, let's get rid of this one. The anchored VWAP from our 74K lows is going to be the key anchored VWAP to maintain strength above. So that is going to be coming in right around 104.8, 104.7. We do have some local support levels there as well, some other support levels. So I will go into that in just a bit, but I want to show you guys we are below the value area high of our 2025 range. And if we start to close daily candles below this pitchfork midline, I do think we're going to see a drop at least down to this anchored VWAP, but we could see a much, much bigger drop over the next couple of months, potentially all the way to take out our 74K lows. Let's go ahead and come on to the Coinbase chart here. And if we look at this Coinbase chart, I'm just going to zoom in onto the 4-hour chart. You can see that we have lost our pitchfork that we were looking at. We rejected the midline of the pitchfork. We rejected the upper band of the pitchfork, then rejected the midline. We have lost that pitchfork, lost our local support. Now, before I went on my vacation here, we had a local support level down in this box here, and you can see we actually did get a very, very nice bounce from that support level. It was our anchored VWAP from our prior all-time highs back in May and the bottom of the pitchfork. We got that bounce, but we bounced from the bottom of the pitchfork and the anchored VWAP up to the anchored VWAP from the all-time high, or from not the all-time high, from our July all-time highs, our previous all-time high, I should say. And it was also the lower band of the pitchfork. And you can see here, we did reject that area pretty much perfect. So it was a nice scalp long opportunity. And now we are starting to lose that local support level, starting to lose the pitchfork here after rejecting from the anchored VWAP, showing that the downtrend is really starting to gain momentum here. We wanted to see a bounce from the bottom of this pitchfork and a bounce from this anchored VWAP, and then a reclaim of the pitchfork band, or at least some sort of range within here, and a reclaim specifically of this anchored VWAP from our previous all-time highs. So Bitcoin continuing to show weakness here. If we look at also our money flow, let me go ahead and delete this box now. Our money flow on the 4-hour is still coming out pretty harsh here. And NAMI did just print a hidden bear div Saturday, excuse me, on the 4-hour chart. And you can see, where did we print this hidden bear div? Because this is going to be really important. So let me go ahead and pull this volume profile all the way up to current price action. And we're going to hide this upper range for a second. This is our same 2025 range that I just showed you on the Bybit chart. So you can see that is the value area high that we were looking to hold as support. And we are in our box of support that we laid out. And this box of support we've had marked out on the chart for months now. So if Bitcoin is going to hold, it really needs to hold this level of support. But with us losing the value area high of our macro 2025 range, and you can see backtesting it on Saturday and Sunday, and at the moment rejecting this reclaim of the value area high, it's really fighting here. We're fighting to hold our support level. This is our big support level that must hold for Bitcoin. But so far, hidden bear divs printed on a bearish backtest of the value area high. Not looking good there. Money flow leaving the asset. Not looking good here. Yes, we are seeing the bull divs on the chart. Lower lows on the price action. Higher lows on the momentum waves. Same with NAMI here. And on NAMI, the money flow was a bit quicker. The money flow was crossing up into the green. But look at this. After we rejected yesterday night, really, where I'm at in the world, from the bearish backtest of that value area high, we are continuing to drop today. Specifically, the last 4-hour candle, we are continuing to drop. For me, this level really must hold. If we go back to that Bybit Wave 3 pitchfork chart, we are now finally actually touching the pitchfork midline of support. And if we do see, I think we could see, because markets are closed today, it is a holiday in the United States, we could see overnight an SFP of these semi-equal lows here, a little bit of a dip below that pitchfork midline, and then a reclaim. And then we really want to get above and reclaim that 109,950 level. We want to get above these local highs here and break market structure bullishly locally. If we do reject again, after maybe if we see a SFP of these small range lows down here from Sunday and at 107 200 ish, and then we come up to 109,950 just to SFP our Sunday highs, Monday highs, excuse me, and then we reject again. That is not going to be a bad sign. That's going to not going to be a good sign. It's going to be a very bad sign for Bitcoin. And I do see a continued drop on Bitcoin to lower price targets. So let's go ahead and look at some of those lower support levels that we can look at here. We do have this anchored VWAP on Coinbase. It's coming in a little bit higher than Bybits. On Bybits, it was about 104,700, 104,750 ish. You can see on Coinbase, it's coming in around 104,900 or about 105K. And if we come in on our charts and we turn on some of the levels that we have, if we look at our naked monthly POC, we have a fresh naked monthly POC that is going to be coming in right on top of that anchored VWAP. So for me, that's going to be a very key high time frame volume level of support, both with the average volume weighted price and our high volume node being that POC, the naked monthly POC. If we lose our local levels without an SFP, I think we are going to see a drop down to 105K, which is our next big support level that I would be interested in looking for a potential long from. We also do have some internal liquidity that is sitting down there. You can see that SFP of this internal liquidity right up into that level of support. Unfortunately, guys, I hate to say this, but Bitcoin does not look too good right now. The money flow does not look too good. We are losing key levels of support. If we do turn on our smaller range, let's go ahead and come in here, turn on that smaller range. We have lost our smaller range up here. Let's clean up this chart. I'll turn off the macro range for a second. Let me turn off these naked monthly points of controls, naked weeklies. Okay, so you can see this small range that we've been in. This range we've been in since July 11th. We have lost this volume level, this range. We have lost the value area low of the range, and we are continuing to drop here, not even really bearishly backtesting that range. After rejecting from the anchored VWAP, we are continuing to drop here. We are at that macro GP, the macro value area high, which has shifted a little bit. When we pulled the macro value area high a couple weeks ago, it was right down in this 108K area. So we are at that support level. There's also a daily down here. That daily has been tapped, and our pitchfork level of support, when we pulled this box, it was over here. So that pitchfork level is not really lining up because of the amount of time that had passed. But this pitchfork is no longer something that I'm watching. We have lost this pitchfork, so we can just go ahead and delete that pitchfork there. And we can actually look at a bigger range. We can pull this volume profile all the way to where this last all-time high was. This last range, the highs of this last range was. And you can see we're at the value area low of this range. Yes, we did, after attempting to break out of the value area high, we lost it, came back within the volume profile, rejected pretty much the POC area, and now we're at the value area low of the range. So we are at support. We are seeing bull divs on the chart, but our money flow does not look too good. If we do see a bounce from here, we do need to be aware of a lower high coming in on the charts for continued drops to the downside, for continued momentum to the downside. So if we do bounce from where we're at right now, first of all, we do have that macro value area high that is coming in right at about 109.9. It on Coinbase it's 109K, 109,100, let's say, and on Bybit it's about 109,900. So that general area of these local highs here, that is going to be a level that we need to break above, bullishly break above, not see a swing failure pattern just to grab the liquidity of that local high and then dump right back down, but we want to maintain above that high that is coming in on, let's just throw that up on there, at 109,900 from Monday, from today, the highs from today. We want to break above those. If we look at our entire drop to the downside, you can see that we are building a lot of liquidity with this steep drop to the downside, a bunch of lower highs. We are building this liquidity curve where if we can start to break above, break market structure bullishly and flip it bullishly, we could see a short squeeze all the way up to our golden pocket retrace. And if we take our golden pocket from the all-time high down to our lows that we made over the weekend here, our golden pocket is going to be coming in right around the POC of that range. Also, if we look at our levels on the chart, let's go ahead and turn on our naked weekly points of control. You can see we do have a fresh naked weekly point of control in alignment, in confluence with that golden pocket that's coming in around 117,800 to about 118,500. So this area is definitely an area of resistance that I will be looking for a lower high on the charts. We do have a weekly that's a little bit above that, some fresh weekly levels that's about 119.3. So this general area of resistance is going to be a tough resistance to crack. This guy up in here for Bitcoin. And we do need to be aware if we bounce from this support box that we are at right now, do start to break market structure bullishly, we just got to look for that potential lower high coming in on the charts before continuing to dump down potentially to 100K, 101K, first off 105K, then 101K, and then potentially all the way back down to our POC at about 96,500. And we did front run that POC a few months ago when we had that three-wave corrective move to the downside. We bounced from our pitchfork midline, but we did front run the point of control of that range, of that 2025 range. And since we have broken above, let's zoom out here onto the daily. Since we have broken above that point of control of that range earlier this year in May, we have not back tested it to confirm a flip to support. We did front run the back test, and we did front run the back test because there was really high time frame support there. You can see that was our pitchfork midline. But if we start to lose this midline again, 105K, 101K, and potentially all the way back down to 96,500, where you can see we would have the lower band of the pitchfork in confluence with that POC. By the time we grind our way down there, they are going to be in pretty close confluence there. And we do know as far as these pitchfork levels work, we lose the upper band, we can expect a drop down to the midline. If we lose the midline, which we are at right now, we can expect a drop potentially down to the lower band. And the last time we hit into that lower band, we did see a very, very nice reaction to the upside, actually a 50% move to the upside. But right now, it does look like Bitcoin could lose this midline and we could continue dropping just based off the money flow and the hidden bear divs that are printing on some of the higher time frames. And if we zoom out here a little bit more, let's go on to our 2-day time frame. Our 2-day time frame, our money flow is still draining out of the asset pretty consistently with the confirmed bear divs on the chart. Higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the momentum waves. You can also see that NAMI printed that bear div as well. And on NAMI, the money flow is crossing over into the red just now on the 2-day chart. So this could signal continued bleeding with lower lows and lower highs on the chart over the next few weeks. Zooming out to the weekly chart. On the weekly chart, this is where it gets a little bit really concerning for me. We do have that triple drive of weekly bear div on the chart from our 2024 all-time high at 74K up to our high all-time high at 108K up to our new all-time high. You can see three major peaks on the price action, higher highs on the price action, but on our momentum waves, we have three lower highs on the momentum waves with our money flow draining out of the asset pretty consistently now on the weekly time frame. Just now locally with the last couple of weeks of downside, you can see that our money flow is starting to top out and potentially curve to the downside. We did print a bear div. Well, first of all, we printed a hidden bear div followed by a bear div on NAMI. And you can see here on NAMI, our money flow is about to cross over into the red on the weekly time frame, potentially signaling continued downside momentum on the charts. And let's go ahead and jump in. Let's zoom back into the 4-hour chart. If we look at the total chart, now the total chart here is important because generally when the total chart is at support and Bitcoin's also at a support level or whatever altcoin you're looking at as at support level, it gives you more confidence to know that a potential bigger bottom could be in. And so what I'm looking at with this total chart is we have been in this range since July, really mid-July. We've been in this range, and you can see we are starting to lose the value area low of this range. We're starting to lose the high volume nodes of this range, and we are continuing to drop to the downside. If we take our Fibonacci golden pocket from the lows of that range to the highs of this range, you can see that we have lost the golden pocket, but also let's go ahead and turn on our 786 level. And you can see after losing the golden pocket, we're actually bearishly backtesting that golden pocket and rejecting. And if we turn on our 786 as well, we are attempting to hold that 786 level, but really not seeing much of a bounce from there. We had an initial bounce from the 786, but rejected that golden pocket now as resistance instead of it holding as support. And anytime I see this locally, it usually means we are going to see continued downside. And 786 is trying to hold, but it is not doing too well here. So what can we expect on the total market cap chart? Money flow looks very bearish here. Yes, we do have bull divs locally. You three lower lows in the price action here, higher lows in the momentums, but that money flow, guys, that money flow is really keeping me hesitant on a bigger push up, making a bigger swing to new all-time highs again on the total market cap chart. So if we continue to drop, you can see that these range lows that I have marked out at 3.56 trillion are going to be in pretty close confluence with our major pitchfork midline that we have on our total market cap chart. So zooming out onto our daily chart here, we did reject from the upper band. And this, first off, let me go ahead and hide these guys here, clean up the chart just a bit. All right. So this pitchfork has been a major pitchfork based off of our 2024 range. Really, our wave three, the same exact pitchfork as we're looking at on Bitcoin here. It is your wave three impulse on the weekly time frame, followed by your wave four correction for 2024. So going back to that total market cap chart, you can see very, very important pitchfork. Gave us the all-time high back in December of 2024 when we rejected the top of the pitchfork. And we did kind of grind our way down through the pitchfork levels, really coming down to that lower band and even wicking a little bit past that lower band. But we are now rejecting the upper band again. And now that we are rejecting that upper band and losing our local range volume levels, our value area low of our local range, we can expect to come take out the lows of that range. And the lows of that range are in confluence. The swing failure pattern of the lows of that range are in confluence with the pitchfork midline, which we really have not backtested since breaking above it in June and July, at the end of June, beginning of July here. So there is a potential total market cap continues to bleed here with our bear divs confirmed on the chart, with our money flow draining out on the chart. Bear divs confirmed, money flow draining out here. It is likely that we could continue to bleed down here on the total market cap chart to grab the liquidity of that range lows into our major pitchfork midline of support. Now, if we do not hold this pitchfork midline, I expect to drop all the way down to our golden pocket. And this golden pocket is a log golden pocket pulled from our last major daily lows in June 22nd up to our new highs that we had here on September 20th. And you can see that golden pocket is in confluence with our previous range, our previous 3-month range value area high. So at 3.33 trillion. Those are the two major levels I'm looking for the total market cap chart to see a major bounce or a potential bigger bottom come in from. So long story short is total market cap chart has a higher likelihood of continuing to bleed out here, continuing to bleed to the downside. And if the total market cap is continuing to bleed to the downside, then we should expect Bitcoin to continue to bleed to the downside and the altcoins to continue to bleed to the downside as well. I'm not going to go into the altcoins in this video, but I am going to be starting up a stream tomorrow. We're going to do a real long stream, go into some of those altcoins, go into Bitcoin and what has happened over the past couple of weeks. But we're at the major support level right now for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin does want to remain bullish for the remainder of 2025, we need to see a bounce from here. My concern is even if we do see a bounce from here, we really need to watch for that lower high coming in on the charts around that golden pocket of 118K, where then we could continue to see further downside come into play. The one thing with the total market cap chart, we can see the total market cap chart continue to bleed to the downside with Bitcoin seeing a bounce. If Bitcoin is seeing a bounce and Bitcoin dominance is rising, but the altcoins are still continuing to bleed, then the total market cap overall can still continue to bleed to the downside, but we could see a little bit of a relief rally on Bitcoin. Other than that, guys, really, yes, we are at key support, but I am not seeing the signals that I want for a swing long position. You can definitely attempt to take some local long positions based off of the bull divs that we are seeing on the chart. We did have those 4-hour confirmed bull divs. You can see here on the chart, on the 2-hour chart, we do have some bull divs here coming in. Money flow was rising to the upside, but it is now coming back out here. Bear divs locally on NAMI here. So it's attempting to hold, and the market's really open tomorrow. So we're going to see how the markets react tomorrow. But I do think we might see continued downside momentum. If we can reclaim that 109,100 to about 109,900 level, then I'm going to be a lot more bullish on Bitcoin, potentially seeing a move all the way up to 118K. If we go into the dominance chart, Bitcoin dominance chart. You can see on Bitcoin dominance, and let's zoom out onto the daily chart here. On Bitcoin dominance, we are finally seeing that drop. We were expecting a big drop on Bitcoin dominance, and Bitcoin dominance lost our daily market structure bearishly. We formed bearish market structure on the daily, could not reclaim those key pivots of the lower highs, our prior lows, excuse me. And we have lost our channel that we have been in for 3 years. This channel that we've been in, not for 3 years, but since March of 2023. So, 2.5 years. And we are coming down to our local golden pocket area, and we are even losing our local golden pocket area. Now, you can see I do have a couple dotted lines here on the chart, and these are channel midlines. So let's go ahead and just hide some of this more local price action. And let's look at those midlines that are coming up here, because we could see some bigger bounces on the dominance chart very soon here. Zooming out onto the 3-day chart, I have a couple different channels that we are looking at, and let's turn off this one. So this channel was pulled based off of these two first original highs on Bitcoin dominance, and we did pull it down. Let's see, why is that there? This should be pulled down to, there we go. All right, yeah, so I guess it is still quite a ways away, and if we turn on our other pitch channel here, both are looking to come in around the same area of confluence, and that's going to be near our prior major lows on Bitcoin dominance, coming in around that 55% area. And we've talked about that 55% area in the last few weeks before I left. We were talking about potential drop on Bitcoin dominance all the way down to 55%. Now, the thing is, Bitcoin dominance is dropping here, but the altcoins are bleeding. The altcoins are bleeding hard, and that's because Bitcoin is losing some key support levels. So if Bitcoin can hold our value area high, macro 2025 value area high, and can hold some of our key supports that we're at right now, we could see that rise in dominance. And the altcoins, even though we're seeing a rise in dominance, we expect the altcoins to continue to at least pump a little bit with Bitcoin. But everything looks, as far as money flow go, guys, and the higher time frame bear divs confirmed on the chart, it does look like we could be in store for a bigger drop over the next couple of weeks. We're at a key decision point for Bitcoin. It must hold this area of support. If it can hold this area of support, all we're seeing is a break of our 2025. Let me clean up this chart so it's easier for you guys. We would be seeing a break of the volume profile, the value area high of our 2025 range, a bullish backtest of that value area high, and then continuation up to make new all-time highs, continuing our bullish momentum. But remember, we talked about this. If we zoom out onto the weekly chart, we've been talking about this for months now on the charts. We did see that 5-wave Elliott impulse complete, and now we could be looking for a bigger flat correction where we could have been topped out in our B waves, and we did reject right from that 1.382 fib extinction target, and we could roll over all the way back down to take out the lows of A, which is that 74K lows. That is a very big potential on higher time frames, in my opinion. So we'll be watching that. Of course, we do have some macro news that could definitely affect the charts and definitely affect the sentiment of the crypto market. We have rate cut decision coming in September that is going to be very, very important. And if the Fed does decide to cut rates, it could be a bullish catalyst that we're looking for Bitcoin to hold this area of support, or hold the 105K area of support and continue to push up to new all-time highs. So guys, thank you for coming back. I am back on the charts now, back to my regular schedule. We will start looking for those trades and trade setups here on the charts. There is a couple partners of the channel. We do have BYDFI. They are a VPN-free and KYC-free exchange. If you are interested in joining with BYDFI, they are offering 20% discounts on trading fees and up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses, depending on how much you deposit. They're also offering various 10 to 20% deposit bonuses on your initial deposit. But if you deposit just $100, they will give you a 50% deposit bonus. And I have partnered with BYDFI to create a Telegram community that's completely free to you. All you need to do is sign up and deposit $100 into BYDFI. If you do that, you can get access to join the Telegram community where I post a lot of my trade setups, a lot of my analysis for you guys. The link to the Telegram is in the description, in the comments section, or in the description below. And the link to BYDFI is in the description below. Once you join that Telegram, just type in /verify and then your user ID, and that will automatically put you into that Telegram group where you will have access to the trades that I'm looking at. Other partners of the channel, we do have Bybit offering up to $30,000 in trading bonuses depending on how much volume you trade, and MEXC, which is offering a 20% deposit bonus. If you deposit $100, they'll give you $20 free, and then 10% deposit bonuses on larger amounts there, plus discounts on trading fees. And then lastly, we do have NAMI. NAMI is a momentum and money flow indicator that I use for entry and exit confirmations on my trade. NAMI is still running that 50% off discount for my community. So if you are interested in purchasing NAMI right now with that 50% off discount code is the best time, in my opinion. Both the discount code, which is Divine50, and the link to purchase NAMI is in the description. Thank you guys so much for joining. Happy to be back with you all. Please hit the like button if you got any insight in the markets from this video, and I will see you in a live stream tomorrow.